And one of the ways that we keep corruption managed to some degree is having whistleblowers and investigative journalists who will reach out, dig, source things, fact check things to give us this information. So for many people, you may think, why is Pablo Torre exposing what the Clippers have done with Kawhi Leonard and Steve Ballmer? And I'd say, I don't know why you did the story. I don't really care why you did it, but I'm happy you did it. And not because I want anything bad to happen to Kawhi, anything bad to happen to the Clippers, anything bad to happen to Steve Ballmer. These people hardly exist in my life outside of entertainment. But I support true journalists reporting facts and providing that information. And more importantly, I support whether it's journalists, whether it's entertainers, whether it's you, whether it's me, whether it's that person on Facebook who I cannot stand, having the right to express themselves, especially when their expression does not contradict the values of their workplace. Because I want to be very clear that when you are in a workplace, you don't have freedom of speech to keep your job. You just have freedom of speech not to be locked up. And that needs to be understood. That brings us to Jimmy Kimmel. Now, ABC, for whatever reason, can intervene if Jimmy Kimmel is using their airwaves irresponsibly. But in the instance that got Jimmy Kimmel in this hot water, in my opinion, he was not using his platform and ABC's airwaves irresponsibly. He was making a point to actually educate and inform, to let people know that, hey, it's kind of odd how this Charlie Kirk murder was covered. And to his credit, he gave his condolences to the family. And I have on this platform multiple times, anytime this conversation has came up, and say, hey, condolences to the family, condolences to its loved ones. And I don't think it's fair that you all have to deal with this internet stuff while you are mourning the loss of someone you care about. I think that's disgusting. So we're going to shift away from Mr. Kirk because, again, I don't want to be offensive. I don't want to be disrespectful to him and his family, but I do want to take the situation and talk about it because I think it's very important for America. Because when we see the president of the FC or the secretary of the FCC, the head of the FCC, whatever his role is, but director, excuse me, come out and say that, hey, you either gonna learn or we gonna make you learn. I'm not quoting him directly, but it gets the point across. Hey, ABC, you take action, or we'll take action that affects you. And so what happened happened. Jimmy Kimmel just said, "Hey, man, it looks like you guys are trying to frame this shooter for your political gain when you should have just waited for the facts to come out and talk about how sad and unfortunate it is. Everything doesn't have to be a political victory." And I think in the in this overly politicized environment, I cannot say politicization or however the hell you're supposed to say that word. Sorry, guys. But anyways, we don't have to politicize everything. Hey, you don't have to get on Facebook and give your thoughts about everything that happens in politics. You don't have to talk to people every day about your politics. I'm somebody very comfortable talking about politics, and I am skeptical about talking politics with many people because, to be perfectly honest, a lot of people don't understand how politics work. What's the point of having uh, politics? What political science truly is? A lot of people don't understand the Constitution, but they have strong opinions on it. A lot of people haven't studied the Constitution, but have strong opinions on it. A lot of people haven't read, studied, and then had to regurgitate that information and have it evaluated by somebody who is considered an expert on the Constitution. I'm not saying you have to do all of these things to have a thorough understanding of the Constitution because we can all self-study. But when you have not studied it, you're not having intelligent conversations, nonpartisan conversations with people, you should probably say less. So for me personally, somebody who is solid in my political ideology, I'm not tied to a party, I'm not tied to a special interest, I'm not even tied to a specific cause. I kind of vote with my head and my heart. It just, I weigh both options. I look at where my head is leaning, pause, and then I see where my heart is at, and then we make an informed decision there. But again, what's in my head comes from what I read, what I try to understand, this, that, and the third. So when we have something like this, where we have the government coming in and essentially silencing someone, saying, "Hey, if y'all don't fix this, that merger that y'all want and need, we might not approve it." That's not the democratic republic that we were built on. That is not what the Bill of Rights, in my estimation, in my understanding of it, is about. The government is not supposed to intervene when it comes to speech. The government is not supposed to punish people for their speech. And the government should not pressure companies because of their speech. Sinclair, whether you were pressured by the government or you were taking a stance to no longer distribute the show to your subsidiary markets, it is not okay for you to take a political stance against somebody just because you didn't like what they said, especially if you're not being consistent across the board. Because I didn't hear Fox and Rupert Murdoch getting any pushback when their guy brought up, "Oh, we should just involuntarily kill the homeless who don't want to get in line." Bro, what? Is that what America's becoming? A get down or lay down country? I thought America was a country where people of different races, creeds, backgrounds, so on and so forth, have the opportunity to have their voice heard.